Hi, I'm George, TSG's Open Content Product Manager. In this short demo, I'm going to compare the Webtop search interface to Open Content Search. So here we are in Webtop, and we have a quick search up on the top left here, the interface, and we can just type in any value and click either type enter or click this magnifying glass icon to execute the search. Um, we kind of talk about this being a little bit hard for the user to understand what you're actually searching other than all of Documentum. And it can have some performance problems on very large repositories, especially if you're not using the Explore indexing engine. So WebTop also has this advanced search that you access by clicking this little triangle icon and then click the advanced. Right away, you can see here this takes over the entire screen. And it's very much a complex sort of what we call build a search interface where it's very complex. I choose from all of the types in the repository. So we typically customize this, configure this for clients to reduce the list of types. In properties, I can add properties here, and then I can choose and or. And for most users, this gets very complex and it's hard to know exactly what this is going to search. Similarly, for attributes, it lists every single possible attribute, even attributes that the user might not, care about or even know what it is. So this is another area of customization where we would typically reduce this list per object type that the user selects. And then the possibilities for the operator, again, while being very powerful, can be complex for users. So as a user, do I understand what this operator means versus equals? And, do I know what is not null even means? So I'm going to go ahead and execute a search. I'm just going to choose our underwriting document type here, and we can see that the screen refreshes to load the custom properties for underwriting document. So here I'm just going to choose policy holder contains TSG and go ahead and execute the search. So we can see here the search comes back and takes over the main pane within WebTop here. There's some options up here on the top right if I wanted to re-execute the search or save my search or even edit the search, which would take me back to this interface. And we kind of say here that it's a little bit unintuitive that I can't see my results as I'm tweaking this search, so I might sort of lose context as I'm going through that process. So we do have this smart navigation that was added in WebTop 6.8, which attempts to take the result set and kind of give some sort of filtering abilities over here. Like I can see if I only want to look at documents that were modified in Q1 of this year, it'll filter that down. And then I can get back to my search results, which is nice, but WebTop does not give you the ability to customize these smart navigation facets other than these three options here without custom code. So on any of the documents here, I can right click the document to get the available actions. Another thing here is that there is no preview of the document. I can double click the document to launch it in its native editor, but there's no good way to preview this document in the WebTop interface. Some other things we'll talk about in this in this interface here. I can click this little icon to pull up my preferences for, maybe want to I don't care about this events or the source, and I want to see the ranking here. I can go ahead and do that and see my changes. But out of the box, I can only do that at a generic document level and a generic folder level. So there's no way for me to say for a particular document type to customize those custom attributes to display in the table. It is possible in WebTop with some custom XML configuration, but out of the box, that's really my only options here. Another interesting thing with this interface is I really can only see that there's 10 plus results. I don't know how many results they are. I actually have to click through the pages, which will refresh the entire interface in order to see that there are 25 results. And I can kind of click through here to see that there are 3 pages. So now I'm going to flip over to OpenContent Search, and the first thing you'll notice is that the search interface is very streamlined for a particular business case. So here, continuing on with the policy and underwriting, as a user, I'm presented with searching for policies, and the administrator pre-selects attributes that the user can search on, with some default attributes appearing here and some additional attributes potentially appearing below this more fields fold here. And as a user, it's limited that I can search on policy and underwriting documents. So I don't have to worry about wading through tons of document types in the repository and tons of attributes per type. It's just kind of pre-configured as to what the administrator knows that the users care about. Similarly, I can jump over to claims, and a claims user can have a similar situation where they're searching on claims and claims documents. And again, they don't have to wade through the list of all of the document types and attributes in the repository. Another thing you'll notice over here is that the interface is very streamlined when it comes to the logic and the operators. So it doesn't allow the user to choose the operators. And essentially what's happening here is that the interface is always anding the different criteria. Um, if I put in 2 values here, it's going to and the policy number and policy year. And it will execute a contain search against anything that's a text field, and an equal search against anything that is a drop-down value. So as a user, I don't have to decide how to and or whether it's a contain search or an equal search. The interface just intuitively does that for me. The other thing that we have that's pretty neat is this concept of proximity date searching. So with dates, I can search between 2 dates or after a date or up to a date, but I can also search in proximity to today. So I could say, find me policies where the policy expiration date is in the next, say, 3 days, weeks, or months. And then that search is always going to execute a date range in proximity to today. So I'm going to go ahead and just run the same search that we did over at Webtop, look for underwriting documents with the policyholder TSG, and go ahead and execute that search. So the first thing you'll notice is that the search appears in a table right next to my search results. So if I do want to make a change to that, I can go ahead and just immediately, without losing my context, execute this search and get my results without losing the context to the criteria and how it affects the results. So I'll just go back to the wider set here. Um, you'll also notice that the table here has pagination built in, so I can go ahead and I'll just change to 10 per page to better show that we can kind of flip through very quickly the results per page without any screen refreshes. Another thing to point out is that these columns were pre-selected by the administrator to determine which columns appear in what order for a particular document type. So as a user, I can come in and decide that I want to change this and display different columns. So I can say, maybe I don't care about the policy year, but I do care about the policy holder. And I can drag these columns around and even change the width of some of the columns here. So I can make this column smaller. And then if I re-execute the search, the system will remember my settings for the visibility and order of all of the columns. Any of these columns, I can go ahead and just click the column and it will sort the table by that column very quickly, again, without any sort of re-execution of the search or page refreshes. And then we also have some pretty neat quick filtering options. So using this quick filter, I can go ahead and just start typing and it will filter on anything in the table. So whether that's the name or the tags attribute in this case, I can just go ahead and start typing and it will find things as I type. So that will take effect as you saw here with name and tags as well as policy number. I can just start typing and it will filter. I can also use these facet type filters over here. Again, the administrator would set up some facets to appear, and then the user can just click on the facets and see the results change as they check these boxes. Similar to Webtop, we do have right-click actions that can be configured for a particular document. So we only have a few configured here, but I can configure these actions in our admin. And we also have group actions that can be executed across many documents. One of the most common ones being to export the table to an Excel spreadsheet. So it'll go ahead and export these search results to Excel. So we're going to take a look at viewing folders and documents more in a future video, but I wanted to quickly show that it's easy to view documents directly in the browser using OpenContent Search. So I'm just going to go ahead here and view this annual report document, and I can click on it, which we'll show a little bit later. That's taken to a different view, but this one here, I can just go ahead and open the document in a new tab, which will launch the PDF directly in a new browser window. So no need to pull the document down to my local and open it up in Adobe. It just kind of views directly in the browser. We also have a cool little feature as well that I can click multiple documents and right click and it'll open each of them in a new tab. So rather than having to do that for multiple documents, I can just click once and it'll open the document in multiple tabs. So here's the MSG file preview as well as the financials document. Well, that's it for this demo. Thanks for watching. For more information, check out our website and blog at tsgrp.com.